Thursday, November 20th, 2025, Maneco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Well, I've known the Gnome of Zurich for over a year now. We met again a couple of weeks ago, or 10 days ago, in Zurich for the Precious Metals Summit Conference. He cooked a really nice dinner for me at his home, and we did a lot together in Zurich, aside, of course, from attending the summit conference. And one thing I can say about the Gnome of Zurich, and we speak on a daily basis, he lives and breathes the financial markets, and especially the Elliott wave analysis of markets, not just very short term, but very long term, going back hundreds of years, as you probably know now. And yesterday he told me he's always looking for new things, and he said he found another count for the gold market, and that's what we're gonna talk about today a little later. He's given me some shocking forecasts for the gold price, not long term, but in the next few months or so, 1 or 2 months at the most. Of course, nothing in life is for certain, and these forecasts are the same. It could work, it might not work, but he thinks there's a possibility of some shocking moves. But before we look at that, and also the rest of the markets, I went the other day into central London, into the city of London really, to see my friends at Gold Investments, who are my affiliates, of course, precious metals dealers. And some of you sometimes send me stuff there because I don't have a P.O. box, and of course I don't want to give out my address. And there were a few books that I had left there. They're quite big, and I picked them up, and there was a new one that came, and also with a letter. And I'm not going to give the full name, of course, of the individual who sent it, but it was Mark. Mark from Oklahoma sent me another book. This is the book here, The Secret Team, the CIA and its allies in control of the United States and the world. And it's a book by a former CIA guy called Fletcher Prouty. So that's the book. And Mark, I'm really thankful for you sending the book, and I'm not trying to be rude, but I had the book already. My edition is from 2008, yours is from 2011. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to give the old one to my nephew in Switzerland because he loves this kind of stuff as well. And I'm going to keep the one you sent me, and I'm going to read it again because it's a really interesting story. Here on this older edition it says, and this is a comment by Oliver Stone, Fletcher Prouty is a man whose name will go down in history. He will be erased from the present history books, his version of history repressed. Yet in time he will endure. So that was Oliver Stone. And I see that this one here is got a comment by Jesse Ventura. Offers uncommonly penetrating insight, a rare glimpse into covert and black operations. Oliver Stone again, yeah. Fletcher Prouty is a man whose name will go down in history. This is in the new edition as well. I'll give you a little quick snippet of this book. I think Lieutenant, I think, or I'm not sure what his title was. He was actually a U.S. Marine or Navy guy, and he joined the CIA, and he was under the rules in terms of what he could do. He was under the Navy rules, not the CIA rules, so that's how he got away with writing a book because they don't allow you to write books if you are in the CIA, and if they do, they really they really control what you put out. But Prouty was kind of he was an exception, and he came out with this book. And apparently, well, not apparently, I think it was 73, and the first publishing edition of it, the CIA bought all 8,000 books because they didn't want it out there, so they bought it all out, and it started coming out again, I think back in '08. And anyway, I recommend this book, The Secret Team, by L. Fletcher Prouty. And Mark, thank you again. And I'm going to read it again. Hopefully I get the time because I've got so many books on the go. That's the difficulty when you love reading these days. And you've got a lot of other distractions, of course. So, the Gnome of Zurich, yes, he's got some shocking gold forecasts. He called me yesterday and he said, oh, I was looking at this and that. And he said, if you look at the low from gold from 2015, and I remember it well, it was in December. I just started posting on this channel back in November 2015. So we're 10 years here, almost every day posting content. Yeah, there might have been a few days where I didn't, but I'd say we've been pretty consistent. But anyway, gold at the time was in a bear market, and it bottomed. I think it was mid-December, December 17th or 18th, and it coincided with the FOMC meeting. And it was 1,045. I remember it well. And the high, of course, in 2011 was 1923, I think, the exact spot high. So it bottomed. So the bull market that we're now really started in 2015. Yes, there was a bull market from 1999 to 2011. That was 12 years, which is very similar to the one in the 70s. It started in 1968, 12 years, 1980. But anyway, he told me from that low in 2015, we doubled basically by 2020. I think the high in 2020 was 2,070. 1,045. Times 2 is 2090, but it's really close when you're talking about markets. And then so from 2020 to 2025, we doubled again, over 4,000, right? 4,140 would be the double of 2070. We even overshot that a little bit. We got to 4380. Back in October this year. And you might think, well, now it's going to take another 5 years for it to double again. But he seems to think that the market right now is in an accelerating phase, and that it will shock everyone on the upside, and that will be really quick. And I kind of agree with that, because this year, 2025, is shock people. People didn't expect gold to have gone up so quickly. Aside from the consolidation period we had from like April to August, gold has been going up in a straight line, and it's gone from, 2,600 beginning of the year, and right now we're at above 4,000. And as I said, we're at almost 4,400. And we only really broke that 2070 high definitively. That started in March of 2024. So it's going to be a couple of years very soon, come the new year. But as he said, it's accelerating, and I have this long-term chart here that I've shown you a few times, and you can see the break that we had last year of like 2,700, which is corresponds to a really long-term trend line. Since then, gold has taken off. It's this acceleration that he's talking about, the Gnome of Zurich, that is. And the thing about these accelerations is that if you don't look at the markets really long term, like he does, going back even a couple of hundred years, and you can look at it, you don't know in which cycle or which Elliott wave cycle it is, or which wave, and that's why he thinks it's going to accelerate a lot, and we could. So he's looking for that doubling. Could be very soon. It could be even before Christmas. Could be after Christmas. Yeah, the markets and nature and the seasons, they're not perfect things. Generally, they happen at the same time. But it's very hard to predict with exactitude. But yeah, so that's what he's seeing. Surprise on the upside. Yes, right now, we've been actually in a choppy consolidation since that top. And I've actually looked at the charts in gold. And I'm going to talk a little bit about them here. More of a short-term chart. I'm going to bring it up so you can see it. Yes. From the top in October, we have now formed like a triangle, and gold is trading within this triangle, and the apex, the end of the triangle, the top of the triangle, which is the place by which the market should have decided either to go up or down. And usually in a bullish triangle like this, 3 out of 4 times the market goes back to the previous trend, which was up, of course, prior to the consolidation. So yeah, you can see here there's a really nice triangle, and right now, let's say today, that would be around 4,200. Right now, as I speak here, it's 8:15 a.m. London time. Gold just dropped about $20 since I started this video or recording, which has been normal the last few weeks. We're seeing a lot of choppiness. But yeah, and on the downside, this triangle, we've got support just above 4,000. So I would expect it to hold 4,000. We had been at 4,038 overnight. The high overnight as well is 41,100. So yeah, maybe once we break on the upside of this triangle, we could resume a lot higher. I still think the signal, of course, is that we are on a new bull leg, short-term bull leg, when we break the previous high, just below 4,400. That's always the easy way to know. And silver as well. I've looked at silver, and there's a very interesting formation in silver. It's another teacup and handle. A very tiny one, because on the daily chart, it's from the high in October, mid-October, when silver traded to a record of 54.60. And you could make it into a triangle as well, but I think it's appropriate to call it a teacup, because looking back 45 years, we have that mother of all teacups, and now we have a little teacup evolving on the breakout of the handle of the 45-year formation. It's like a fractal. What about silver? Because I asked him about silver as well, and he told me that the silver market has a different cycle than gold, of course. Like, kind of the low in silver since 2011 was not in 2015, but in 2020. But he said, yeah, silver will do really well as well, of course, if we see this doubling again in the very near future. So if you take 8,000, if we go to 50 to 1, that would mean silver at 160. Even if silver doesn't really, well, it will outperform in my opinion, but let's say it just goes down to 70 to 1. Well, that's still $115 silver before the end of the year or in the beginning of next year. And it could be a lot more. So the focus is on what gold has done. And the other thing I want to bring up, so yeah, this teacup, before I move on, is a bullish formation, of course. And right now, the top of the teacup is around 54.55, of course, which was the high. And we're still working on the handle. Yeah, I wanted to bring up a chart of gold, a weekly chart, back from the 70s and early 80s, because some people might think, oh, you're crazy. How can gold double in a month or two? Well, if you look at the 70s bull market and its conclusion in January of 1980, and that's the other thing, the Gnome doesn't think this move that he thinks could happen is the last leg of the bull market, because we are in a different kind of cycle than the 70s and 80s. So anyway, but what happened in 79 is quite amazing, because if you look at this weekly chart from 1979 to like 82, you can see that gold was going up quite nicely since 1978. And I'm going to take the date of November 29th, because November 19th, the week of November 19th, which is pretty much the week that we're in now, but this is back in 79. Well, gold was trading, the high that week was 400, the low was 388. So it was trading around, just around 400, below 400. And I guess that's the equivalent of 4,000, right? And then by January, the week of January 21st, 1980, it had topped, according to this TradingView chart, it had topped at 873. So it more than doubled. So it's not impossible. Why am I talking about this? Well, because it's good to know the technicals, and it's good to know what could happen. And if this were to happen, would I get rid of some of my gold and silver for fiat currency? Definitely not. But I might take off some chips off the table in the mining sector, because I would expect the miners to go ballistic if this were to happen. So that's the way I'm looking at it. In terms of, longer term, I think it's just going to be an interim top, and we're going to see gold and silver continue to go higher. Yes, higher than 8,000. This thing is nowhere near being over. And why do I say that? Well, because I think the debt problem is still out there. I mean, as I speak today, the Japanese government bond market is in big trouble again. The 10-year yield there is continuing to move higher. We're at 182. Yes, the Treasury market is kind of stable right now. Yes, we also have the non-farm payroll number today, which hasn't come out in a long time because of the government shutdown. But today they're publishing the September numbers. They're not publishing the unemployment rate, but the non-farm payroll number is expected to rise by 53,000, which really isn't great. It's not a sign of a great economy. If the economy was doing really well and growing strongly, this number would be above 200,000. But anyway, we're going to keep an eye on that. what about the UK? We got the budget next week. We saw yields continue to rise yesterday. That's something I want to talk about probably tomorrow with Clive. Tomorrow morning we'll cover the UK situation, because I think things could get quite turbulent in the next 6 days in the run up to the budget. And so with that, I'm going to wish you all a very good day. Take care. Bye.